They say when Naoya Inoue walks into the ring, even the air holds its breath. There's silence in his eyes, the kind that comes before a storm. And when that storm breaks, nothing survives in its path. But tonight, under the blazing lights of Tokyo Dome, stood a man who refused to fear the monster, a proud warrior from Mexico, David Carmona. He wasn't here just to fight. He was here to prove that even monsters can bleed. Monster or man, the heart beats the same. Carmona had said before the fight, and now it was time to test those words. The crowd roared, cameras flashed, and the tension was thick enough to cut through. 2 men, 1 ring, 1 destiny. The bell rang. Round 1. Carmona moved fast, light on his feet, throwing quick jabs, testing the distance, trying to read the monster. Inoue, calm and cold, watched him like a predator, waiting for the perfect moment. And then suddenly, crack! A right hand from Inoue thundered through the arena. Carmona's gloves absorbed the punch. But the sound shook the crowd to its core. The commentators erupted. Inoue wastes no time. He's setting the tone early. Carmona stepped back, breathing steady, his eyes locked on Inoue. He faked a jab, went for a body shot, but Inoue had already read it. A brutal counter right hook landed flush. Carmona stumbled, his balance shaken, but he didn't fall. Blood appeared on his lip, yet there was no fear in his eyes, only fire. Because for a Mexican fighter, pain is not punishment. It's fuel. Carmona came forward, threw a powerful left hook, and for the first time, Inoue's head snapped back. A drop of sweat flew off his face under the bright lights. The crowd erupted. "Let's go, Carmona." And then came the smile, that cold, dangerous grin from Inoue, the kind that says, now the real fight begins. Inoue's rhythm changed. He attacked with machine-like precision. Left jab, right cross, left to the body. Each punch landed sharper and heavier than the last. Carmona tried to cover up, moving, blocking, surviving. But every second felt longer, every strike more painful. Inoue's timing was flawless, his power ruthless. The final 10 seconds of the round arrived, and then it happened, a violent explosion of punches. 3 quick shots, followed by a devastating uppercut. Carmona's head snapped up as the crowd gasped. The bell finally rang. Round 1, over. The referee stepped in, separating the fighters. Both men returned to their corners. Carmona sat down, chest heaving, ribs aching, sweat pouring. The commentators shouted, "Carmona survives the storm, but for how long?" His trainer leaned close, yelling, "You can take his power. Don't back down." Carmona nodded, eyes blazing with determination. He whispered to himself, "I didn't come here to lose." But no one knew what was waiting in the next round, because when the monster gets hungry, the real destruction begins. The second round began with a different energy. Tense, dangerous, electric. Carmona stood taller now. His corner's words echoed in his mind, "Don't back down." Across the ring, Inoue rolled his shoulders, calm as ever, eyes fixed, heartbeat steady. He knew he had dominated the first round, but what he didn't know was that Carmona was just getting started. The bell rang. Carmona came forward this time, no hesitation. A sharp jab to the body, then another to the head. Inoue tilted his chin slightly, unfazed, but Carmona's punches had rhythm now. He was moving smarter, slipping, dodging, making Inoue miss, something very few men had ever done. The crowd could feel it. Something was changing. Carmona's fighting back, the commentators roared. Inoue adjusted, stepping in with a brutal left hook that caught Carmona clean on the temple. The sound cracked like a whip, but Carmona didn't go down. He took it, stumbled a step, and threw a counter right hand straight to Inoue's jaw. The monster blinked, just for a split second. A hush fell over the arena. It wasn't much, but for that moment, it felt like Carmona had just shaken the world. Inoue's calm expression vanished. His punches grew sharper, faster, crueler. Left hook, right cross, uppercut. A storm of precision. Carmona's defense started to crumble, his gloves shaking under the power. Every time Inoue landed, the impact echoed like thunder. But still, Carmona didn't fall. His face red, his ribs burning. He kept swinging. Every punch was a message. I'm not afraid. Midway through the round, blood trickled down Carmona's cheek. The referee watched closely, ready to step in, but Carmona waved him off. He wanted this war. He needed it. And then came a moment that silenced everyone. Inoue moved in for a body shot, but Carmona slipped it perfectly and landed a stunning uppercut of his own. Inoue's head snapped back. His balance faltered for half a second. The crowd erupted into chaos. They couldn't believe what they just saw. Carmona hurt him, shouted the commentator. He actually hurt Inoue. But Inoue's eyes, they changed. The calm was gone. The storm was here. He stepped forward with vengeance. 2 quick jabs, a heavy right hand, and then a brutal left to the liver. Carmona gasped. The pain shot through his body like fire. He backed into the ropes, barely holding himself up, but he refused to fall. His fists stayed raised. His legs trembled, yet he stood tall. The bell rang. End of round 2. Both men walked back slowly, blood, sweat, and pride mixing on their faces. The commentators' voices shook. This is a war. Carmona's taking punishment no man should survive, but he's still standing. Inoue sat in his corner, silent, breathing steady. His coach whispered, "Finish him. Don't let him breathe." Across the ring, Carmona stared back, swollen eyes. Round 3 began like an explosion. Both men charged forward. No more testing. No more measuring. This was war. Inoue unleashed lightning-fast combinations, fists like pistons. Each shot targeting the same damaged ribs Carmona had been guarding. The impact was brutal. Carmona grunted, staggered, but kept swinging. His punches weren't sharp anymore. They were pure willpower. The crowd could sense it. Carmona was reaching his breaking point, but somehow he refused to give up. His eyes stayed fixed on Inoue, his lips bleeding, his chest rising and falling like a furnace. Every punch Inoue landed, Carmona answered with one of his own. It wasn't perfect boxing anymore. It was pure heart. Then came a chilling exchange. Inoue fired a jab, followed by a right hand. Carmona absorbed it, stepped in, and threw a wild hook that barely missed. Inoue countered instantly with a devastating left to the body. Carmona bent over in agony. You could see the pain in his eyes. The referee stepped closer, watching carefully. But then, in an unbelievable burst of courage, Carmona fired back again, his punches wild but powerful. The crowd went insane. He's still fighting. He won't go down. For a few seconds, Inoue actually stepped back. The monster was surprised. Carmona had landed a flush right hand across his chin. It didn't hurt him, but it reminded him, this man won't quit. And that angered Inoue. He stepped forward again, calm, controlled, deadly. One jab, one cross, one uppercut. Each punch cleaner than the last. Carmona's head snapped back, sweat and blood flying through the lights. He tried to grab the ropes, but Inoue didn't stop. The arena erupted. Chants, screams, chaos. Finally, the bell saved Carmona again. Round 3 over. He stumbled back to his corner, barely standing. His coach looked at him, eyes wide, heart breaking. "David, you don't have to prove anything. You've done enough." But Carmona shook his head. "Not yet. I'm still here." Across the ring, Inoue's team prepared for the kill. His coach whispered one final command. "End it." Inoue nodded. No emotion, no hesitation. The next round would decide everything. The bell rang for round 4, and the arena knew this was the end. Inoue moved forward like a shadow, controlled, silent, terrifying. Carmona lifted his guard, his arms heavy, his body battered, but his spirit unbroken. Inoue started slow, measuring distance, waiting for the perfect opening, a jab, then another. He feinted left and unleashed a right hand straight through the guard. Bang! Carmona's head snapped back violently. He staggered to the side. The monster moved in for the kill, a left hook to the body, a right uppercut, a flurry of punches that blurred into one. Carmona's knees buckled. The referee hovered close, watching. But somehow, Carmona stayed upright. His body screamed for mercy, but his heart refused to surrender. Then came the final shot. Inoue dipped low, twisted his hips, and landed a thunderous left to the liver. The sound echoed through the arena. Carmona's face froze in agony. His legs stiffened, and he dropped to his knees. The crowd gasped. Time stood still. The referee began the count. 1, 2, 3. Carmona tried to rise. His face contorted in pain. His gloves pushed against the canvas, but his body wouldn't respond. 4, 5, 6. He looked up at Inoue, eyes filled with respect, defiance, and exhaustion. 7, 8. Carmona stayed down. The referee waved it off. Naoya Inoue, the monster from Japan, had done it again. A ruthless display of precision, power, and control. But this time, the victory felt different, because across the ring lay a man who refused to bow, who faced the monster and never once ran. The commentators spoke softly. Carmona lost the fight, but he won respect. Inoue walked over, knelt beside Carmona, and placed a glove on his shoulder. No words, just silence, the kind that only true warriors understand. That night, the Tokyo Dome witnessed not just a knockout, but the meeting of two spirits, one born to dominate and one born to endure. The monster roared, the warrior fell, but both left the ring as legends.